There are two very distinct styles of working with Code Interpreter and talking to it. And I want to really dive into these a little bit here because I think it's important to know how you can approach a problem either through step-by-step instructions that you give Code Interpreter or by asking Code Interpreter to figure out the steps to tackle a problem. Now, let's think about what this means. Imagine that you have your intern and you have something that you want them to do. One way you can solve this problem is you can say, hey, go do this, and then do this, and then do this, and you make the steps really concrete, really specific, and you tell them exactly how to solve the problem in order. And what you're really looking for them to do is to do the work for each individual step, but you're going to build the overall plan. You're going to decide what comes first, what comes next, and you're going to get to choose what the individual steps are that the problem is broken down into. And that is one way of solving problems. Another way of solving problems with Code Interpreter or with your intern is you tell your intern, hey, I need to accomplish this. Here's my overall goal. Go and build a step-by-step plan to accomplish that goal. And so there's a difference here, right? In one case, you are deciding the plan. You're choosing, here's what the plan is, the individual steps, and you're making them very concrete. In the other example, you're asking your intern to go and generate the plan that then they're later going to apply. And we can do both types of things with Code Interpreter. So we can either go and step by step break down the problem and explain to Code Interpreter how to solve the problem and what we want, or we can go and we can ask Code Interpreter to come up with a step-by-step plan, which then it can use and apply. And we can talk about the plan and we can interact with Code Interpreter and tell it how we want to change its plan, but we can have it generate the initial plan that it will then use to apply and solve our problem. Now I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. So if we take a look at this chat with Code Interpreter, I started off with very specific instructions. I said, draw a directed graph for me that has nodes for extract, transform, AI analyze, and create, and arrows connecting them. This is one step. I'm telling it right now, do this. I'm not even giving it what's coming in the future. I'm just saying, here's one step, go and do it. And it goes and completes the step. Based on that completion, I then say, okay, here is the next step. You're going to highlight extract by changing its color. And so what I'm doing is I'm step by step going and explaining to Code Interpreter what I want. And one of the things that I'm doing is as I'm basically executing a plan that I've created in my head, and I'm sort of planning on the fly as well. And then I go and I create a more complex step. I say, now create a table that lists different types of extraction operations that Code Interpreter can perform. I describe what should be in the table, and I tell it how to accomplish the task. But again, this is really one step at a time, one task at a time. I'm choosing the tasks and the ordering. Now let's contrast that with a completely different way of solving a problem with Code Interpreter. Exact same problem. I'm going to try to draw these graphs with extract, transform, AI, create. But I'm going to say, I need to create a series of graphics and corresponding text that go along with the process of extract, transform, AI, create. Now notice I'm telling it my high-level goal. And then I'm telling it step by step what I want. I want a graphic, probably a directed graph that shows the overflow flow. I want to highlight one step in the process and then explain it. I want to have a table under the graphic that explains the different type of data. I want to explain the operations related to it. And then I say, please create a step-by-step plan for you to create the graphics and tables for me. Now, I'm having it choose the overall plan up front. I'm not going one item at a time and saying, if you remember, I said, go do this, and I looked at the result, and then I said, go do this. No, this time I'm saying, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Now, the key to this is then I'm saying, please create a step-by-step plan for you to create the graphics and tables for me, you being Code Interpreter. And so it says, okay, sure, here's a step-by-step plan for creating the graphics, tables, and accompanying text, design a directed graph, generate graph, highlight one step at a time, table creation for different types of data, explanation of operations for each type of media type, visualize the table, review and refinement. And so in this case, it's choosing and creating the plan that it's going to execute. So in the first case, I am imperatively saying, here, step by step, do this, do this, do this. I'm deciding the plan and I'm driving the process. In the second example that we're looking at right here, I'm saying, here's my overall goal. Please create a step-by-step plan for you to create the graphics and tables for me. In the second case, I'm asking Code Interpreter to do the planning. So the second case is AI planning. The first case is human planning. Now, you're going to use both of these when you use Code Interpreter. Well, you don't have to, but often you're going to be most effective when you know that you can do it either way. And sometimes you're going to want to use an AI planning approach. Sometimes you're going to want to imperatively go step by step to solve a problem. But if you want to be really effective, you have to know that you can do it either way, and you have to be able to fluidly switch between the two depending on the problem that you're solving and the aspects of that problem.